Good afternoon, everyone. Respected gentlemen on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, the topic in itself has, I would say, paradoxical in nature. Across religions, if I talk energy, energy is always implied positive. But we are today talking about using a term called clean energy before energy. I don't know. Energy was always clean. Uh, but yes, as you all know, that we are faced with the circumstances where I can proudly say that I will die of old age, but I'm not sure of the next generation. That's the pity of this ecosystem that we have built it ourselves. I'm proud to say that we've always looked at energy from different form factors. Uh, I feel that the room is very hot. I hope it is not because I'm carrying a nuclear fusion device in my pocket. So, this is the size of my nuclear device, and I'm in the August gathering of Mr. Razdan, who's the 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 father in atomic physics. But if you really look at it, what I'm holding in my hand, I mean, as I was coming through the airport from Hyderabad to Mumbai, there was a talcum powder in my bag and they asked me to throw it away. But they didn't find a nuclear reactor in my bag and I just got it through. That's the beauty of this technology. And as Mr. Razdan rightly said, yes, I put my buck into it, every penny that I believe that this is going to change the world. Because let me just step back and tell you what this technology is all about. Uh, we know that there are multiple ways of understanding. I mean, in school, I was an outstanding student. They never allowed me to sit inside. So the brilliance is I could never take anything for granted. And I asked questions which probably they had answers or they didn't want to give answers. They showed me the door. The fundamental question is, when you think fusion can happen, why do you always believe that fusion has to happen at 15 million degrees centigrade that happens on the surface of sun or any other star? When you think you can split atoms and create fission, when you think that there is another way of creating energy without really destroying, so we're all thinking and we are all doing certain things in certain way because we are used to a certain defined knowledge base, which is our mind, which is our limit. Due regards to Mr. Saxena, knowledge is my biggest limitation. And if I have to innovate, I have to go out of my mind. My mind is my limited knowledge. So we question, why not fusion with hydrogen? And that's exactly what we did. The whole world calls it cold fusion. Cold fusion here because, I mean, it happens at 350 degrees centigrade. It's not cold enough, but it's controversial because people couldn't replicate, people couldn't make sure that they are able to come out with results in multiples. So I'll just give you the building blocks of it so that you're able to understand the beauty of the technology and appreciate that this can change our generation. And I guess we can preserve the generations to come as well. What I have is just a, a plane. This is a space grade reactor. That's why it's made out of aluminum, but we have the same in tantalum, titanium, and all the other materials. And I have a small nozzle to dose hydrogen in it. And that entire ecosystem is then heated by a simple heating element. And we have a nickel palladium mesh in it. Nickel mesh with a deposition of palladium. Palladium, why? Because it can absorb 900 times its mass of volume of hydrogen. And I'll spare all the scientific details, but this mixture of just 4-5 elements which you can buy it in any street in Mumbai or Hyderabad has led us to create fusion. So like my previous video went with, I mean, I'm just giving you a number. With 100 watts input, you are able to generate 180 watts output of thermal energy. Now with heat, you can then transfer it to any kind of, say, downstream application where you're using electricity to generate heat, or you can even convert that heat to electricity. And in net result, we are targeting 10 paise per unit as a cost of electricity from the fusion that we are doing. The heat is already generated less than 10 paise today. And that's the beauty of fusion. Now, I will just take the last 2 minutes to talk about why this is going to be so different. How do you ascertain that this is fusion? We believe that what is happening in sun is definitely happening at 15 million degrees, but there is a basis to it. There is a starting point. There is a big bang to it. And that big bang, we believe, is cold fusion. Now, how do I ascertain that it is indeed fusion? I'm sure most of you would have read the book Alchemy, or rather The Alchemist. We have transmuted, we have created transmutation in our fusion reactors. We have created rare earth elements like yttrium. So if you look at the entire global ecosystem, there are only two words that are playing the dominance, or rather playing the havoc around. One is nuclear energy, and then second is the rare earth. And believe me, we have built both of them in my less than 500 square feet of lab in Hyderabad in Triple IT campus, with a team of, like Mr. Razdan rightly pointed out, my co-founders are Dr. Prahlad Ramarao, who's called the Missile Man of India, to my oldest scientist is a 25-year-old guy who can really beat the hell out of any nuclear technology. I understand that there is a skill that is definitely deficit in the entire ecosystem, but given the position that where we are, I remember the jokes as a school kid while I was growing. India was best to make a very interesting product made by somebody else, and then we used to put made in India stamp. But proudly, I'm saying that we have done this from Hyderabad, from India, the world's first positive nuclear fusion. Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, thank you very much for that exciting revelation. I think I can take you back to about 1990 or 91. And when cold fusion was one of the things being talked about. And my then director, Dr. P.K. Iyengar, was a believer in it. And so was Dr. Chinu Srinivasan. He was in Bath that time. But there was another parallel set of atomic experts who said this is all nonsense. And in fact, the journal Scientific American had, I think, in 1991 issue, I remember the words, "The corpse of cold fusion has stopped twitching." So I think you need to call them back and show you that the man is well and alive and walking around. Thank you very much.